Hello everyone, for today's magic card trick tutorial, that'd be nice to share with you a neat trick where you can even have a spectator shuffle your regular deck of cards so that they're well mixed, well shuffled, and your spectator can shuffle them as much as they want. It doesn't matter, they give it back to you, and then you start the trick. And so in this trick, you're gonna be looking for one specific card, unbeknownst to the spectator, that's only known to you, the magician. And so I'm gonna look through this well-shuffled deck that the spectator shuffled and look for that one specific card. And it looks like these cards are very well mixed, very well shuffled, and I can't seem to find my card that I'm looking for, but let me just go through and let me pull this one out right there. We'll use that one for the trick. Now, once you have your one specific card that's only known to you, you're gonna turn the deck face up and deal down just a bunch of cards and just have the spectator tell you when to stop at any point that they want. And they can stop you here, here, here. Let's say they stopped me here, okay? It doesn't matter where they stop you. It's a free selection, okay? So they stop you there, and the purpose of that was just to separate the remaining cards into two piles. Now you can have a spectator select any pile, and that's the one we'll use. Let's say they select this one. Now you can take and cut to any card that you want, and let's see what card we cut to. We happen to cut to the 8 of spades. If we would have cut one more, that would have been a 7. Another one would have been a 6, etc., 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 but we cut to an 8. Now what we're gonna do is spell out 8, E-I-G-H-T, E-I-G-H-T, okay? And now wouldn't it be amazing if that card there was also an 8? You turn it over, boom, amazing. That's an 8, that one's an 8, so they kind of match. And then your prediction here that you had made in the beginning, wouldn't that be amazing if it were also an 8, and now the only 8 that's remaining is the 8 of hearts, and wouldn't that be amazing if this one was also an 8? And that's quadruple coincidence. Now, before I show you how to do it, please, as always, like and subscribe to this channel and this video. I really appreciate it. I'd also like to give a shout out to all my channel members. I really appreciate you guys. And if you're looking to support the channel, you can do that all through the channel memberships given in YouTube below. Also, visit thebestmagicshop.com for some awesome magic tricks and gimmicks. You can also sign up for a newsletter to be notified of new tricks, discounts, and more. All at thebestmagicshop.com. All right, quadruple coincidence, the tutorial. So you're setting up the deck, and this is, the point. If you have a spectator, you just have a regular deck of cards, full deck. Make sure that you have all 52 cards in it, because if you're missing, one card of a certain value, then it's not gonna work, because you need all 4 of the same value of cards to do this trick. So you can have a spectator shuffle, mix up the cards as much as they want, and then when they give you back the deck, you just notice whatever the card is on the bottom. In this case, it's the 6 of spades. And now you have the option of, when you do this trick, of either using the value to count, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or you can spell. I prefer to spell, because then you're not looking through as many cards, and it's not gonna mess you up as much, because what you're gonna do is look at the value of this card. I'll get to it in a minute, okay? And then you're gonna just reverse count the cards, spelling out 6 to yourself. So in this case, it would be S-I-X. So that's only 3 cards. You turn these face down and set them on the table. So that's the first 6 that you found. Now you're gonna do that same reverse count, and then if you don't find a 6 immediately, you can push over a whole bunch of cards, etc., until you come to the second 6. And just as you're doing this, you're saying you're looking for one specific card, but actually you're just looking for the second 6. At this point, you reverse count it, place them face down on top of the pack of cards, just, make a comment, oh man, these are really, well mixed, etc. Now the next time you look through the cards, you're gonna look for another 6. They happen to be next to each other at this point here. Now you want to cut one of the 6s to the top of this packet, okay? So that put a 6 in here, and this 6 happens to be right here. You're gonna look for your prediction, and normally the card would be probably in the middle somewhere. So you just say, I'm gonna look for a prediction, and this is unbeknownst to the spectator. You're not showing them what card you're looking for your prediction, and you take the last 6 and place it on the table, okay? So now your deck is set up where you have the 6 on top, and then you have 2 6s below, and the position is, you know, SIX, okay? If it were a 7, you'd be SEVEN, you know, and those would be the 7s, etc., okay? So that's where you are now when you're going to now continue with the trick. Now you deal down face up a whole bunch of cards, and it doesn't matter, but once you pass the 2 cards that you set up, in this case the 6s, you ask the spectator just to tell you when to stop at any point in time that they want, and it doesn't matter after you pass those 6s where they tell you to stop. Let's say they stop you here. You just take these cards, turn them over, and all that's doing is you're really just separating the remaining cards into 2 piles of cards. This one has a 6 on top. This one is now set up with the 6s from the top now below to help you set up with the rest of the trick. So you want this, you can tell them to pick any pack that they want, but you're gonna have to force, the magician's force, this one is the one that you're gonna do a cut, but it's actually a false cut, and then use this one. So that they point to this one and say, okay, we'll cut to the cards here on this one, you know, etc. That's just a magician's force. So they pick this one and say, okay, we'll cut to the cards on this one. It's just a magician's force. And you're just gonna do a false cut. And a false cut, you can do any method you want. The easiest method is just to flick down, you know, about half the packet of cards, pivot over, there's a pivot false cut, pivot these cards over so they're on the top, take this remaining pack, you just drop them on the table and drop them on top. And you've messed up no cards when you've done that, okay? So that's just a simple false cut. Just take these, pivot over. This is my left hand, these are still my right hand, this is the bottom stack. You just drop those on the table, drop those on the top. When you do it, it looks like you're doing just a regular cut, but you're actually just doing a false cut that maintains that card on the top. So now that you've done your false cut, you say, we'll cut to a card. In this case, it's a 6, okay? If we would have cut again, that would have been a king. If we would have cut again, that would have been a 7, okay? But we cut to the 6. Now we'll spell out 6, and then you spell out SIX. That's the first, that's the other 6 that you come to. Grab this card and say, wouldn't it be amazing if that happened to be a 6 that we cut to? And then you show that one, and you say, well, now I have my prediction over here. I was looking at one card. Wouldn't that be amazing if that were also a 6? You can turn that one over, and then you say the only card that's remaining, and then you just do the process of elimination. You know that this is the 6 of hearts, and then you just say, wouldn't it be amazing if I also have the last 6, the 6 of hearts, in my hand? And that's quadruple coincidence. It's kind of self-working. You set the trick up right in front of your audience, if so be it. You can also set it up, you know, beforehand, before you do a trick, but then you can't shuffle the cards. But this way you can have the spectator shuffle the cards, and then you kind of set up the trick right in front of them, okay? So let me know if you have any questions. You can leave them in the comments below. I do respond to comments, and make sure you have that bell notified because I do post new tutorials every week, usually on Wednesday mornings. And I hope you enjoy it. It's a fun trick to do. It's not too difficult. And until next time.